you messed it up. You're stupid.
Today's Daily Dose of Stupid is actually brought to you by Amazon. And by that, I don't mean that we're sponsored by Amazon. That would be awesome. I'd love to get some of that Amazon money. If nothing else, I'd just like to get free stuff on Amazon I'd do a trade with them. But no, Amazon is actually going to be the focus of this. Not Amazon itself. They're not the ones that are the target of the Daily Dose of Stupid. It's some of their employees. So this is what's going on in Shakopee, I think is the way to say it. Shakopee, Minnesota. There were Amazon employees that were protesting Amazon at a fulfillment center. Now, why was this the case? Because these particular employees happen to be Muslim. And their complaint is that Amazon is not sensitive to their needs. It is not allowing them to exercise their religion. As Muslims, they're saying they need more time to take breaks and to pray, because a devout Muslim is somebody who follows the tenets of Islam and prays 5 times a day. Now, the Quran actually says 3 times a day, so I don't know how it got to 5. I guess that was just tradition. Maybe somebody better versed in the history of the Muslim religion could call in and explain that to me. But nonetheless, they are saying that their workload is too great for their prayer demands, and as Muslims, they need to be able to pray, and so Amazon should back off their expectations of work. So this is what Amazon told Vox. This was their response to it. We work very hard every day to ensure our employees are treated fairly and with dignity and respect, including here in Minnesota, where we have an open and direct dialogue with employees. Amazon offers a great employment opportunity with excellent pay, ranging from $16.25 to $20.80 an hour, and comprehensive benefits including healthcare up to 20 weeks of parental leave, paid education, promotional opportunities, and more. We encourage anyone to compare our pay and benefits in our workplace to other retailers and major employers in the Shakopee community and across the country. We invite anyone to see for themselves and take a tour through the fulfillment center to our program. Now, here's the thing. I'm not somebody that thinks that just because someone doesn't share my religion, that their religious beliefs ought not be respected. In fact, you may recall just yesterday, we had a whole show about religious persecution. And one of the things that I brought up is that China is discriminating against Muslims and hauling Muslims into concentration camps. So I'm not somebody that just because they happen to not be the same religion as me thinks that that ought not to be a consideration at all. However, I have very little sympathy for the people that are complaining about Amazon, because it's part of the job. If I'm paying you $16 an hour at minimum, yeah, I expect you to get your stuff done. And I expect you to do it very timely, and I expect you to work hard when you're there. You pray on your own time. And if you're going to be taking breaks frequently to pray, I don't really care why you're taking your breaks. If you're taking breaks in work, that's fine. Don't expect me to pay for it. And I would say that if you were a smoker, I would say it if you're going to take a lunch break. It's not a problem. I understand people wanting to be able to take a break, and that's fine. But if you're going to take a break, I'm not paying for it. And this is really the problem that you're running into. If you're going to be taking a break 3 times a day, that's going to be an issue for your payment. And you have to understand that that may be an issue if I'm going to be paying you at the end of the day for all of that. And look, I'm somebody that prays pretty frequently, and I'm somebody that has taken a break off of work to go pray before. But if my boss had a problem with it, I clocked out or I waited till another time. Now, Christians believe in praying without ceasing, so, I was praying all the time. We don't have a specific number or specific time that we have to pray. But the point is, it's really not discrimination, or at least not government discrimination or illegal discrimination, to say, hey, you got to work here. I'm sorry. If you're doing the job, if I'm paying you to do the job, you've got to continue to work. And so Amazon is a private company. If they wanted to just straight up say, no praying on the job, no breaks for it, you keep working or else you find another place to work, I wouldn't necessarily think that would be the right way to handle it, but they would be within their right to do so. However, that is not what is going on here. In fact, upon further investigation, it turns out, and this is in an official statement, they give their employees, their Muslim employees, because they realize there's a lot of Muslims working at this place in Minnesota. They give their employees up to 20 minutes to take prayer breaks. 20 minutes. And they say anything that exceeds 20 minutes, well, then we have to dock your pay. So think about that. That is a third of an hour. They're saying you can take up to a third of an hour off to pray and not get any dock in pay. So if you do that 3 times a day, and Muslims pray 5 times a day, so if you're working an 8-hour day, it would stand to reason that you're taking at least 2, if not 3 prayer breaks. That means they are paying for a whole hour of you doing nothing. And this is what they're complaining about. Now, people in China, where Muslims are getting actually taken up and put into labor camps and forced to work for free, yeah, that I get. Being scooped up and saying you have to deny your faith and give praise to our president and declare atheism and deny Muhammad, yeah, that I have a problem with. That's wrong. That's immoral. That is a violation of human rights. But your company is giving you an entire hour out of the day to go pray and not docking your pay for it. They're paying you for an hour of not working. And you're saying it's not enough. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for you at that point. Your argument is falling on deaf ears at this point, if you're talking to me. And I'm for companies being accommodating or whatever. But this is the issue that I'm having. And by the way, since this alleged discrimination is taking place, I wonder when all the liberal media companies are going to jump on this particular story. When they're going to start going after Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, who, by the way, is also the owner of the Washington Post and is a big Democrat donor. When is the left going to come after him for discriminating against Muslims? Because you can bet your bottom dollar if this were Chick-fil-A or this were the Koch brothers, then this would be a major national news story, especially as slow as the news cycle has been the past day. So I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. And one thing that I don't think that these people realize is that these people just made hiring them and other Muslims less attractive to their employer. For the same reason, not out of discrimination, just out of a productivity question. If I've got somebody that's a smoker and a non-smoker and they have the same qualifications, guess who I'm going to pick? The non-smoker. Not because I hate smokers. Not that I think I ought to be controlling their life and telling them what they can and can't put into their body. Just because I know that the smoker, every hour or so, is going to have to take a smoke break. And I don't want to have to deal with that, and I don't want to have to deal with them taking breaks in the middle of the day more often than your average employee. And so if I have to make that consideration, I'm going with the non-smoker. And these guys that are protesting and saying we need more than an hour out of our day, we need more than 20 minutes per break to be able to pray, do these idiots realize that they just made Muslims as a whole that engage in prayer less attractive on the marketplace to these people? Because it's a loss of productivity. And so they're actually encouraging discrimination against Muslims by doing this. It really, this lives up to the Daily Dose of Stupid moniker. I believe in religious liberty as much as anybody, but your religious obligations are up to you to fulfill. They're not your boss's responsibility. They're up to you. Look, I tell every employer when I take a job with them, I can't work Sundays, I can't work Wednesday nights. I have obligations to my church. I'm not going to miss worship. I'm not going to miss Bible study. It's not malicious. It's not that I have anything against them at all, but I told them up front, I'm not going to do this job if it's going to interfere with that. And they have the right to right up there in front of my face say, well, if that's the case, we really can't have you on. We need somebody that's going to be available in those times. I'm fine with that. It's their business. It's their company. They have to protect their brand. And I understand that. And if that's the case, then I have to find somewhere else to work. And that's fine. And there have been jobs that I did not take because of that. And that's my point in all of this. Your religious liberties are up to you to fulfill. I had to make sure that I was taking work that wouldn't interfere with my religious obligations. And if Amazon is saying that, if the Muslims are saying that Amazon is not respecting their religious liberty, that's fine. They need to find somewhere else to work. That is not incumbent upon Amazon. I never went out against an employer and tried to cause a stir and tried to hurt their profit line because I felt that they weren't accommodating my religion. It's up to me to figure out how to make that work, not to the company. I really love personal liberty. I believe in freedom of expression and freedom of association. And so it is completely up to you whether or not you want to like this video and subscribe to the Tactics Radio YouTube channel. However, I will say this. You know who else never subscribed to my channel? Hitler. So the way I see it, you have two options. You can either like this video and subscribe to Tactics Radio on YouTube, or you can be like Hitler. Totally up to you.